We're experiencing some technical difficulties. We're waiting for Peter to unmute himself. But I had to go live because I only get 10 minutes and then they send evil things to my account on Facebook if you don't go live within 10 minutes of a scheduled live.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. So, welcome. While we wait for Peter to get rolling here, I am Kim Bultsma and
I am Corey Logsden.
And today, this is Monolith Trail Co. And you are watching the Monolith Trail Notes podcast, video, vlog.
Do you know how to talk properly?
Oh, man. No, it's been a long day. So, but anyway, today we've got, let me see if I can, I don't even know how to unmute poor Peter over there. Let's see.
We can see him on the other side.
Yeah, we can see him over there, but it's somehow, I can mute him.
And this is Travis, by the way. He's also made his appearance. Be a shark, everybody. Just be a shark. That's the cool way to be.
Anyway, so, yes, be a shark. Anyway, so while we're trying to figure out this little bit of a technical difficulty, Peter Mellen is our guest today, whenever we get him able to come on here. It's like, I don't know how to unmute him. It's just like he's muted himself, so... Anyway, so we're going to start talking today about coaching. So we're going to cover a lot of topics today. And one of those topics is, like, when is it time to consider hiring a coach and things like that. So I think we got this. I think Peter is here now. So let me bring him in. Let's put him over there.
There you are.
There we go.
Hey!
Yes!
Yes, we got it.
Woo!
Nailed it.
It took so long. I was trying to mess with it, so.
No, it's okay. We got this. I know I have to start because I don't know if you heard me. Like, otherwise Facebook gives you negative points if you don't start within 10 minutes.
Yeah, I heard you just fine. I don't understand why it was muting me, but I guess I restart.
Hey, we're here. Woo!
Ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll. Okay, and I think we're firing on all kilters here. I'm going to make sure just on my other end that everything is right, because it appears that we're doing the right thing. So, Peter, while I do that,
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I don't know what else to say about that other than it's really hot today. It's supposed to be like 105 degrees every single day for this week, and that's not even the heat index. So running is making it very difficult to run. So I'm trying to get out there as much as I can right now. I've been running since 2015. I did it for weight loss originally, which is how I kind of coached myself to get through it all. And then after I lost the weight, then I just kind of got hooked on my first race and never turned back. So
nice.
Very cool.
So wait, what year was it again that you started? Uh-oh. He died on us.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Strike number 1.
Actually, I feel like we're on strike number 2 here. Hey, those of you who are watching, drop a note in the comments so we can kind of get a grasp on who's here and what questions you might have. I know we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, but if you're just joining us, Peter Mellen is our guest. He is I'm going to mess up his letters, the type of coach he is. There's like a couple different coaching programs out there, and one of them is what the RR Roadrunners, RRCA, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
And that primarily is aimed more towards people who are running road stuff, like they're doing
running coaching association, maybe.
They're doing a mile,
5K,
right? Yeah, 5K,
maybe 10K, mostly focused on the road side.
Yep. So that is not the kind of coach that Peter is, though. Peter is. I was just explaining what kind of a coach You're not the RRCA.
No, I am UESCA, which is
US.
gosh, yeah, USCA. It's it's a trail specific coaching that I actually signed up for. So I'm specifically surrounding myself with the knowledge and expertise towards ultra running and anything that has to do with longer distances past a 50K and beyond.
Okay. So when did you, like, tell me again, like, what prompted you to get involved in the coaching component?
Well, the crazy part is, like I was mentioning, is my running really kicked off more towards my self coaching when I did it in 2015 to get ready for my first half marathon. I kind of just started teaching myself how to do it, learned about running for time instead of distance, and then merging that into distance over time, and kind of going through that process in my own head, which is a scary place to be in most cases. But got through that first half marathon in a time that I actually specified in my head of where I wanted to finish at 2.5 hours. And then I actually finished in 2 hours, 31 minutes and some seconds. So I feel like I stuck to my plan the way I scheduled it. So as I progressively got stronger and started learning more longer distances, I started learning what I could do and how to build up my endurance and tolerance over those races. So when I got into more competitive races, some of them I just wanted to finish. Like my first 50K, I just wanted to finish it. And I finished actually my first 50K, I had a 9-hour cutoff and I finished in 8 hours, 59 minutes and 58 seconds. So that was just my I want to get finished with this race. I'm done kind of thing. And the crazy part is, I tell everybody that I talk to, it's like, you have to want to finish before you'll ever finish a race. And so I wanted to finish. I had people helping me through the whole race periodically. And I even, had my daughter, who was going through leukemia at the time, kind of give me a phone call and give me a pep talk. And even though she was, 3 years old, she knew that I was trying to do something that I wasn't comfortable doing. So she kind of just gave me that pep talk I needed to push me through. So, and I called her like it was a loop course, and I called her on the 4th loop when I was trying to finish my 4th loop. So it was much needed. So, but things like that. In my 50 miler, I ran with a buddy of mine, and we finished it. And, we finished it in the time that we wanted to just finish it in. It wasn't any set goal of 10 hours or anything like that. It was just to finish our first 50 together. So right now I'm training, like I mentioned, for the first 100K I've done. And that 100K, again, it's my first one. So I'm kind of just focusing on finishing it. But I'd like to finish in under, 13 hours, which is a lot for me considering my training's kind of suffered lately due to some health issues. So just getting through that.
So when did you get certified?
I got certified, I want to say June of last year.
Okay.
Kind of wanted to just get myself certified and then see what I could do with it from there.
Okay. How long did that whole course take?
It looks like we lost him again.
He might have froze on us. So what I'm going to do, USCA, I'm going to look that up on my phone so I don't ruin any sort of stuff any bandwidth on my computer. USCA is the organization, online science-based running, triathlon, cycling, and ultra running coach certification. And I know one of the big guys that is kind of behind USCA is it's Jason Koop, right? Which, any of you who are local or, know in the running world, one of our local people, Casey Lichtig, she is coached by him, and he's kind of a big game. Oh, where'd it go? That was crazy. Did you see that?
But no, and he just finished up with Hard Rock, not just this past weekend, and I've had the chance to visit with him a little bit, and he knows his stuff, and it's not just simply from a running standpoint on the ultra scene, but he knows his nutritional stuff too. And Casey has raved a lot about him, and I think it's a little bit more sophisticated than, say, your road running type of certification. And I think that, we'll get to learn more from what Peter will have to say about it, just because it's still new to me about the coaching certificate itself.
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit about USCA while you're gone, and that Jason Coop is one of the people behind that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and his material is very spot on. It's very easy to learn, to the extent of makes it simple to understand what is needed for runners and how to coach other runners through that process, and not have it seem like it's overly scientific and overly difficult to desire a coach, but also to become one. It's a hard balance between being personable and really being able to connect to the people, but also just feeling like you know what you're talking about and understanding what you're talking about, because you don't want to misinform somebody or overinform them or assure them that they're not going to get that you can do more than what you're technically allowed to tell them you can do. Like, you can't help them through an injury, you can't repair an injury, you can't do certain things that a lot of people think, oh, I'm injured, I can run still. Well, there's a lot of things about the process you got to take into consideration, because you're liable for that person if they run injured or if they're doing it. But he outlines everything about injuries and about just the biological aspect, the skeletal aspect, everything that you need to know your body inside and out, but also on how to go about the whole process, even, for the 100Kers, 100 milers and beyond, like how to crew, how to prepare somebody for a length, that distance, and really how to take care of them. So
just I'm like, had a crew. Oh, I got this.
Now, what drove you to consider more the USCA coach certification versus going for the RCA for the road part? I mean, most of us probably start off being road runners, and then some of us decide to make the transition, go into trail or longer distances. Some of us, we just kind of stick to those because it's a little bit easier on us.
Well, and in all honesty, like, even though I'm certified as an ultra coach or a marathon or a ultra runner coach, I still have the knowledge in the background of being on the road first. So I would say RRCA doesn't prepare you, so to speak. I say that lightly because their programs are very informative and very, very strongly influenced as far as the road runners are concerned. But and they make a great program themselves, but I don't feel as though their program is specific to the longer distance range. I think a lot of theirs is a marathon, and really that's where it stops. They're not crazy like us. Like, they don't go, if you put them on a trail, they don't know how to behave. Like, we are in a different world. And that's the cool thing about Jason Group, is that he really wanted us to understand the difference between road and trail. So I feel like I can give a lot of information to a road runner still, even as an ultra marathon coach, but I have an extra added bonus of understanding the side of the ultra runner beyond that. And that's where RRCA doesn't really focus on that aspect of, okay, well, what happens if you get into a 50K road race? Like, well, they do exist, although I don't. Yeah, it's very few, and it doesn't really count to me. But I'm just kidding. Anybody that gets a 50K is a 50K winner and an ultra runner to me. So, but it's just like, trail runners just have a different breed of people. It's just we're bred differently. So, I feel like you just don't get that same preparation. Like, you don't tell a road runner that they can go get a bunch of pickles and peanut butter on the aid station. They're gonna just get water and stuff. They're gonna get gels, but that's about it. That's the break of their norm. So, or they eat those protein bar things. So we get our protein from pickles and peanut butter. I mean, it's just different.
So does USCA, does it have definitely more of a focal point on the nutritional aspect? Certainly you're kind of diving in a little bit to that by saying, eating pickles and peanut butter, a variety of something else versus just simply doing goo gels or something that the standard road runner would do.
Right. And it does focus a little bit on that. It just tells you like your healthy options of going. And obviously we have a different menu and a different palette for most. So it does dive into a little bit of those details, but really it focuses on eat something that is beneficial to your body and your muscles that you're trying to work, and also just maintaining your level of calorie counts and things of that nature. So burning, and that's the thing it's really hard to say as far as I don't eat the same thing that somebody else is going to eat. So I try to stay away from specifics. I just try to focus on making sure they have a high calorie count and making sure they have a good fat intake, and they're hydrated, and that everything that they're taking into their body is what they're familiar with from the beginning of their training program to the end of their training program.
That's good.
If they stray at the last minute and try to go from goos and gels and all those things that you normally would eat during a training run, but haven't prepared yourself for what's going to be at an aid station, like potatoes and peanut butter sandwiches and pickles and all that stuff, your body's not going to know how to differentiate the amount you're taking in, and it may not absorb it the same way you're expecting it to at that point. So it's very, and that's one thing that ultra running coaching teaches you is like, we deal with a different food intake. So we've got to stay away from just focusing on, you're not going to finish a 100-miler with just gels. You're going to need something else to supplement with. And that's one thing it does focus on too, is the supplementation of using other, items to help us get through that.
So at what point should someone like realize in their, I don't know what, in their life, like, I think I need a running coach? Like, what have you seen from the people that you've been coaching? Like, what motivates them? Motivate, get it? Peter's motivated.com. You see on his shirt there, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Motivated Run Co. I think we just had so much going on.
You had a little bit to do with that website, didn't you, Kim?
Just a little bit. I'm kind of proud of that one.
No biased opinion there.
No biased. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I think it's the best website I've ever seen. No pun intended.
Stop.
I'm sucking up. Shoot.
Hey, look, she's the best. She's all I needed, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. It's nice to get compliments.
Wow. You know what? I'm walking out.
Are you scoffing at the compliments?
No, but yeah, so like working with the people you've worked with, like at what point are people like, or, should they consider finding someone like you, or,
Well, here's my biggest obstacle I think I'm ever faced with is, I did it myself. I self-coached. Like it's very, for somebody that's going to just come right out of the gate and be like, oh, I want to run an ultra. Well, you got to understand the ultra before you can just say that. You got to understand what it's going to take, what you're going to go through, and how easy it's going to be for you to discourage yourself. And that's where I think a lot of people need a coach, is whenever they don't have that support or have that self-confidence, really, even though they're confident people, running is a different beast. Like I have lost my confidence a time or two here, and it's been something that I've just had to remind myself of, where is my goal want to be and where do I want to finish? And that's where people lose themselves without a coach. I think a lot of people that try to just do it on their own, unless they have the experience already, getting to that step and maintaining that step is going to be the hardest thing for most people. So when I've talked to people, and normally they're like, oh, well, I think I want a running coach. My first question is, okay, what are your goals? Is your goal just to finish? Do you have a placement? Do you have a time in mind? Do you want to have, so I start going into my Q&A, and a lot of them are just like, I don't know what I want. I don't know where I want to finish. I don't know what I want to do. Well, that's exactly why you need a coach, because a coach can evaluate you, get you to the point where you're ready to, figure out where your baseline is and say, okay, here's your baseline. Here's where I feel you're strongest, but make successful, achievable goals throughout the process, instead of you saying, well, I want to get there in 2.5 hours and I want to do it in 4 weeks. Well, you have to have a realization of where are you right now. And if you think 2.5 hours is an option for you, but you're right now running, 16, 7-minute miles, so that's just not going to add up. You're going to have to trim off a large portion of your time. And to do that, you need to have discipline and focus and somebody to push you through it. And that's where a lot of people just don't have that longevity. They run once or twice a week and expect to see the same results. But, you don't see the results right away, and you got to stay, I'm going to say corny, but motivated. to keep going through all that. And if you're not motivated, you got to have that confidence to keep going, to get back to the motivation.
Right. So what are like people's, what would you say is the biggest obstacle people have to overcome in order to make a really good stride with a running coach? Does that make sense what I'm asking? Fear
of failure. I think fear of failure is the biggest obstacle that people, including myself, I'm sure Corey's felt it, you felt it. Like if you're ever in the middle of a position where I've got 100K coming up in 2.5 months, do I feel like I'm 100% ready right now? Absolutely not. Do I see the progress that I'm making already in just a few weeks that I've been back to my full swing of training and everything? Yeah, I'm seeing progress. It's slow, but it's just the fear of failure. And I think, I'm afraid I'm going to fail at 100K and I'm going to be wasting my money on a race entry. But first, I made myself committed by signing up for it. Then I had to figure out how am I going to be able to maintain this achievement by finishing if I bow out now before I have a chance to fail. Like if you fail, you just have to get back up and keep going. But you're going to have to, like, I had injuries. I had a heart arrhythmia. I had a stress fracture. I had things going on with me that were really making me slow down. Like I looked at my Coros the other day and I only ran 3 miles 4 months ago, the whole month. And I only ran 6 miles the next month because I was trying to work out myself. That was valuable training miles that I missed. I have to make that up, and I have to get my body back in the middle of the summer when I'm probably not very smart about doing that. So I'm being very careful. I'm being very careful about keeping my mileage low enough during the week and then focusing on one good long run during the weekends, and trying to surround myself with people that are going to push me through it. So that's a big part of where you have to have that network of people that help you get through your long runs and somebody there to keep you, push through your short runs and keep you accountable for your days. I've coached people that, stick with the plan, step forth for them. And, I'd give them a plan for 3 to 4 weeks out, let them work through it themselves. If they have any questions, concerns, I follow them on Strava. I make sure that they have, accountability from what I can see on their Strava. So I'm really hands-on with the fact that I try to make sure that they know that I care about their results, not just give them a plan, say, here's what you want to do. If I don't see any changes, don't worry about it. I'll hit you up the next month. So, I'm not out to just make money off of this. I'm out to make more runners out there more successful and happy with their performances, no matter what they do.
And it's easy to probably kind of answer a question like this, but just kind of curious to get your in-depth being a coach. How important is it for anyone that's looking into a program? How important is that relationship with their coach? Certainly you're going to have some athletes that might want more, verbal interaction with their coach on a weekly basis versus some, you could toss them a plan and they're all good to go. And sometimes it just might be a periodic checkup. How important is that for a coach runner standpoint, or any athlete that's looking for, a coach?
I think for me, in the way that I communicate with people outside of coaching is that I'm a customer person. Like I'm a face-to-face, I'm a customer relations person. I like making people happy, but also want to make sure that they're happy with what they're getting from me. So, my communication with them is heavy, whether they may like it or not. I still interject myself periodically and just say, hey, how you doing? And if you need me, just let me know. And if I see they're sticking to a plan, I'm just saying, I congratulate them. I've gone to people's races and kind of cheer them on